Welcome back to the Mulberry Book Drop. Hey, Bethany.
Hi, Sarah.
Happy July.
It is. It's my birthday month.
It is. I was just about to say that. Stop it. Season 6, episode 3. So crazy.
It is crazy.
How are we already on episode 3?
I don't know. How are we already in the second month of summer?
That part.
Yes.
It always every year flies by.
It really does.
Ugh. Well, with that, we have some, I don't want to say maintenance, but we have some fun, don't forget these things, guys. And don't forget to hand in your bookmarks before the end of the day on July 31st. It's very important. Our book fair for the kids will take place on August 3rd through the 8th. And you can follow us on our social medias or contact us for updates about it.
Definitely. And then also don't forget, we do have our adult reading challenge going on this year. It's called the Declaration of Reading. So as well as with our summer theme, we've been celebrating the 250th birthday. The challenge is only 12 books. So there are little trivia facts with book prompts. But there is still plenty of time for you to finish this challenge and enter our prize raffle because it is a really awesome prize this year. So I have
no idea what it is. I need to ask you after this. But I will say, even if you haven't started it, you still have plenty of time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even if you haven't started it. Well, I have to tell you how awesome Bethany is. And she comes up with some really great ideas. So we try to figure out what we're going to talk about for podcast episodes. And when we were well, what are we going to do for July? And we're should we, do something for the 250th birthday? And we were well, we haven't really read a lot that pertains to that. And then Bethany came up with this really great idea. And she said, what if we talk about books that are 250 pages or less? Guys, I'm going to give her a raise. I can't do that.
Oh, thank you.
I was I can't actually do that, but I'm going to give her a high five. How about that?
I like high fives.
Okay. So I was just that's genius. So yeah, the next time you see Bethany, just, give her a high five.
Thanks.
And we'll know what it's for.
Well, and I feel we talked about this, maybe it was in season 5, but I feel there was an episode where I was talking about how I suddenly have this weird appreciation for novellas.
Yes.
And because a really good author can fit so much into so few pages sometimes. And it really blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, you're just full of great ideas. And then I was well, oh no, how many books are there that I've read? Actually, quite a bit. So we're each going to talk about 4 books today that are 250 pages or less. And do you want to go first?
Sure, if you want me to.
Cool.
This book was actually suggested to me by a city employee, different department. Thank you. Love the recommendation. And it is called Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. I gave it 5 stars.
Wow.
And it was only 118 pages.
That's an essay. That's crazy.
It is. It is. But it takes place 1985, small Irish town. It's during the weeks leading up to Christmas. And Bill, a coal merchant and a family man, is kind of facing his busiest season. And then early one morning when he's delivering to this local convent, he makes a discovery that forces him to confront his past and whether he's complicit in the silence of the town that's controlled by the church. It was so fascinating. It became an international bestseller, I think. And it really deals with hope, being a quiet hero, empathy, all of those kind of things. And in my review, I had mentioned how is it possible the Magdalen laundries in Ireland were up and running all the way into the 90s, and yet I had never heard of them. Historical fiction, heartbreaking and hopeful, strong voice. And then the quote I had saved is, why were the things that were closest so often the hardest to see? So it was a lot in that book, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of feelings.
Well, my first book was rated also 5 stars.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And it was Poems and Prayers by Matthew McConaughey, which is 208 pages.
That's the book our coworker mentioned last month.
It was. I was how cool, how cool. And this one, my prayers are my poems and my poems are my prayers. I've always relied on logic to make sense of myself and the world. And this is what I put for my review. I put, this book is how I imagine eating dinner with Matthew McConaughey would go, and I would love every minute of it. 100% listened to the audiobook. It was great. I loved hearing poems he wrote at all ages, including the Candy Crush one, and also more about his faith. What a cool dude. He could read me the back of a cereal box, and I would love it. He just has one of those voices. So
That's cool.
Yeah, I legitimately was like, I think and I actually listened to this one on a cruise. And I was like, huh. And it was, I enjoyed it. And I know some people are like, meh, about it. And I said, yeah, can't relate. Loved it. And Candy Crush, because I also play Candy Crush. Mm-hmm. So that one hit for me.
That's so funny.
Yeah. What's your second one?
Okay, my second one is a little goofy, but I also gave this 5 stars, 180 pages. And it's called Kitchen Table Tarot. Pull up a chair, shuffle the cards, and let's talk tarot. And it's by Melissa Cynova. And I kind of picked this up on a whim because I was gifted a tarot deck and I didn't know how to use it. And I am a person who likes rules and I like to know things. And there's and this book really made me calm down because it was very much all about that there's no right or wrong way. And since I'm not actually doing like these huge layouts and telling someone's fortune, I'm using them more as like a journaling exercise. It was very interesting to understand from this person who's been doing it for so long. So like the author sits down a lot with like her friends and neighbors who are curious about it. She really answers a lot of questions and misconceptions that like newcomers like myself have maybe experienced. It's very knowledgeable, but it also is like really warm and friendly. And it's very, there were some things that were like these crazy rules where I'm like, oh no, is this going to mess up my deck? And this lady's just like, no, like whatever feels good. And I'm like, oh, good. Okay. So I can just pull a card and then journal on however I feel about that card. So I really loved it. So if anybody's into some of that kind of fun stuff, I found this to be like a fascinating read and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I know I'm weird. Whatever.
I remember, you read it on your Kindle, right?
I did. Yeah. I might get myself a physical copy so that I can actually like highlight some stuff. But yeah, I loved it.
Well, my next one is kind of weird.
Yay.
And it's called The Vampire Gideon Suicide Hotline and Halfway House for Orphan Girls by Andrew Cate. And it was 230 pages and I gave it 3 stars. And I am going to it was still enjoyable. I will say that. But in the house on the hill, there lives a vampire, but not of the sexy, mysterious, or sparkling kind, which are Bethany's favorite. Just kidding. The vampire Gideon prefers to drink nearly expired blood from the local morgue while watching over the humans around him. Humans he calls children because when you're as old as he is, everyone else does seem like a child. And so many of these children are prepared to throw their lives away over problems that, in Gideon's views, appear rather trivial. He sets about trying to fix them by means of an unofficial do-it-yourself suicide hotline. He's sure that he's making a difference, maybe even righting the mistakes of his past. Then one day, a troubled young girl calls, and his undead life gets turned upside down. And before he knows it, he has a tech-addicted teenager roommate. At long last, he begins to grow up. It's literally
so silly.
Right. So this book was actually recommended to me by a friend. And there were things that I liked about the book and some things that I was just kind of like, I get it, bro. You're a vampire. You're old. Your skin's translucent. That kind of thing. Yeah. But I was like, all right, I get it. I laughed at every single fart joke that's in the book. I am no better than a child. And my favorite parts in the book were actually the stories that he would tell people about him as a human. So there is quite a bit of coarse language in the book. So just kind of a heads up for people.
That's cool.
It was still I think did you read it?
I did not.
Okay.
No.
I think you would read it and be like, what? kind of thing. I think you might enjoy it. So yeah, it was a fun book.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is my shortest book. It's only 106 pages.
That's crazy.
I also gave it 5 stars.
Wow.
I know. It's 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. A lot of people list this now as a classic. It was published in the 70s. Or no, I think it was 1970. And over a 20-year correspondence, Helene is a freelance writer in New York City, and she is corresponding with a used book dealer in London. And over the years, even though they never met because of geographic and cultural differences, they share this whole sentimental friendship based on their love of books. And the relationship is just so beautifully put together. Like you can just feel it, and it's all through letters. It's like an epistolary like situation, and the thing on Goodreads I think says it'll grab your heart and not let go. And I have to say that's so true because I still think about this book all the time. And my review was just saying that it was absolute perfection. The audiobook was utterly charming. And then there was a quote in it that was ground nuts. And it's like, I'm still chuckling about that one from the letter. Like, I just feel like this author, this person who was writing the letter, she must have just been so fun and entertaining to be around. Mm-hmm. Like, she just seemed like a hoot. I don't know. And I was looking for a physical copy because I had mentioned this, I think, during Titles with Tea once. And I was not able to find it, so it may only be audiobook right now in Polk County. But I did also find out that it is a movie. Oh. They made a movie a while back, and it's on my want to watch list at some point.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, well, my next one is called Orbital by Samantha Harvey, which is 224 pages, and I will say I only rated it 2 stars. Now, before anyone's like, why are you talking about this? 1, it fit the description of the podcast episode. But 2, it is interesting. And I think someone might appreciate it more than I appreciated it and enjoy it. So it was the winner of the Booker Prize in 2024. And Orbital gives like the snapshots of one single day in the lives of 6 women and men traveling through space. So they were selected for one of the last space station missions of its kind before the program is dismantled. And so you have astronauts from America, Russia, Italy, Britain, and Japan. And they left their lives to travel at a speed of over 17,000 miles an hour as the Earth is below them. So we get glimpses of like moments of their earthly lives, like through brief communications with family, their photos, and then we watch them whip up dehydrated meals and float in gravity-free sleep and exercise. And excuse me, they also experience 16 sunrises and sunsets in a day.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I thought it was, I was really intrigued. Our director told me about it because she listened to it, and I absolutely love the cover. The cover of this book is stunning, so pretty. And I did enjoy the snapshots of the different astronauts' lives. But there were things that I didn't really understand. At some points, the book kind of felt like a novel in verse. And at other points, it kind of felt like it was, meeting a word count. But it was full of a lot of things. And it was a lot of random things. So I do recommend taking your time to read it. Because, yes, it's only, 224 pages. It actually took me, 3 days to read it. Because I was taking my time with it. So it wasn't necessarily my favorite book, but I do think that somebody else will read it and love it.
Yeah.
So, it got a Booker Prize. It didn't get a Booker Prize for nothing. So I, still wanted to talk about it. Yeah. And it's space. I do love space. So
you do love space.
I do. And I did think it was really interesting that in that day, they witness 16 sunrises and sunsets. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wow. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
I was like, that would mess my brain up. So what is your last one?
My last one is called What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. And this author is sort of new to me over the last couple years. I've read a few of their books now, and I've really enjoyed all of them. This one was 165 pages. I gave it 4 stars. But we have Alex, who's a retired soldier that receives word that a childhood friend is dying. And so Alex then has to try and unravel the secrets that are going on at the House of Usher before it consumes them all. So it's basically like a retelling of a pretty famous story, but you have this whole nightmare feel to it. So it is horror, but possessed wildlife, surrounding dark, pulsing lake. You got somebody who's sleepwalking, strange voices in the night, all that kind of stuff. And in my review, I said, retelling Poe, Oh, the Fungi, Mexican Gothic flashbacks, horror with a sprinkle of humor. For example, this quote, sometimes it's hard to know if someone is insulting or just an American. This book,
That's funny.
I think I read it in like one sitting. Like I'm trying to remember exactly where I were or if it was one of their other ones, but I feel like I remember just plopping down and being like, oh, well, I'll just like at least get halfway through today and halfway through tomorrow, like no biggie. And it was like once I was going, I just kept going. And they actually have several books that are all smaller like this.
Okay.
So they have a couple that are a little bigger. Like I had used one of them for a book club at one point. And then there's several that are like this. And this author also writes under a different name for kids.
Oh, okay.
So they have, and I think they do that just to really make sure, because if you look at the covers and the size of the book, you might think, oh, it's middle grade. Well, no, it's actually just a short story for adults.
Yeah.
So let's not confuse. And so I kind of love that they go under two different names.
Yeah, interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, this last one you also read, and it is called Holy Disruptor, Shattering the Shiny Facade by Getting Louder with the Truth by Amy Duggar King. I rated it 5 stars, so ending with a banger, and it was 240 pages, so it just made it. Overbearing leadership, toxic environments, unfair standards, and unrealistic expectations. Those are many ways that people abuse, manipulate, and silence others. And the worst part is the abuser is often someone you love. So if you don't know who Amy Duggar King is, she was known as Crazy Cousin Amy on TLC's hit reality show 19 Kids and Counting. And it was an identity that she did not choose, but she was forced to live into. And her voice was taken from her, and she was very much gaslit when she was told off camera, you're too much and you're not enough. But in the years since the Duggar family has collapsed, she has disassociated from the toxic family environment, and it's helped her discover how to be a holy disruptor and make life-changing decisions for her well-being. So I think it was really good, and I know that you read it as well. And I'm just going to read my review real quick. But the chokehold that the show 19 Kids and Counting had on my mom and I is wild. And I remember Amy on the show and all the comments the family would make about her. I totally went into the book with the mindset that she's just latching on to the hype and to make money. Boy, was I so wrong. Sorry, Amy. She opened the book with the rules of the IBLP and then what the Bible actually says about said rule. Yes, girl, just a friendly reminder that nothing can be taken away or added to the Bible. If something is added, like a separate book or a set of rules such as IBLP, something is up and is giving cult, which you might have a different opinion. Anyways, I did not expect to relate to her as much as I did. We had similar childhoods and relationships with our dad, so I reflected on that. But the perspective she gave of her family growing up was really eye-opening, and I appreciate her telling the truth. The book was easy to follow, and I actually listened to it as an audiobook, and she has a great audiobook voice. So if you are into that kind of stuff, 10 out of 10 recommend. But I really enjoyed it. And the fact that it was only 240 pages and it felt longer, but not in a bad way.
There was a lot in there.
Yes, like a lot of information. And of course, like her cousins have written some books that I've read, you might have read. And so
I only ever saw like a couple episodes of the show,
okay,
like way back when. But I was more familiar with them from when I used to work at the bookstore and I took care of magazines. And they were always in the tabloids, which I'm like, you take all of that with a grain. Like,
right.
You get a 15-minute break to eat a snack and you're just like flipping through a magazine.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what I knew about him. So she was Crazy Cousin Amy.
Right.
Because she was always the one. So I think when she talked in the beginning about how she even ended up on the show, like that she was just going to pick up Grandma for an appointment or something.
And Grandma was like, come on.
Yeah, she's like trying to tiptoe through the house.
Right.
And then it was like they just kind of took that as oh, hey, over here. And I was just like, wow, that's how that all started. So, I was
just surprised. To find out, no, she's just an extrovert.
Yeah.
And literally just an extrovert.
And I did listen to, I don't remember the podcast now, but there was a podcast episode where she was interviewed. Just because I was curious, like, you can put whatever you want on paper and get it published and have somebody edit it. Yeah. But what if somebody's interviewing you and you're just, like, freeform? You're just talking. And, of course, they're still going to edit things. But this, like, is more you. Like, how much is still... And it was all... She was telling the same story. You know what I mean? So I was kind of like, okay. Yeah. She's a very good speaker. Mm-hmm.
So it was... I follow her on Instagram. And so just... It's kind of cool. And, like, she does have a good relationship with a couple of her cousins and stuff like that. So, so I was like, okay. And I was like, we grow, we learn. that kind of thing. And so that's kind of what this book felt like. So it was good. I enjoyed it. So,
cool.
All right. Well, I was like, this is a shorter episode, but guess what? These are shorter books.
They are.
Let's see what we did there. So I just have one more question for you, and that is, what are you reading now?
I kind of wish I had looked at how many pages this book was before I came in here, because now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, it is kind of skinny. But I think it might still be more than 250.
Yeah.
But I am currently reading Briefly Perfectly Human, Making an Authentic Life by Getting Real About the End. And it's by Alua Arthur. And do you remember when we did the Planning with Peace program and the death doula came in?
Yes.
Okay. This book was actually suggested to me by the death doula because, of course, I relate to circumstances and people and understanding things through books. And so I had asked her, like, oh, had you ever read this book or that? You know, so we got chatting, and I put this one on my, like, want to read at some point, and I kind of got caught up, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll try that one. Oh, this person has lived.
Yeah.
Okay. This book is basically sharing their journey from becoming a lawyer and then going from, like, not being happy being a lawyer, like, not, you know, this, I just don't feel like this is all there is for me.
Yeah.
So going from that to becoming a death doula and, like, how that happened. It has been such a pleasant surprise for me so far. Like, her story is quite a ride, and few decisions and things that she does that would not be my personal choice. Like, I have no interest in going to Burning Man, but, like, you...
No?
You
I was going to ask.
You.
Just kidding.
But, like, I have no regrets. I just think it's so incredible what she does for people now. And she does share throughout the book so far, like, there's been a couple moments with people where, still respecting their privacy, obviously, that she has shared kind of a general overview of a situation so that you can understand, like, what she does and where she's coming from and how she is there to help people. But I really think the whole idea of being a death doula is really kind of a cool gift.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's such a incredible thing if somebody's strong enough to do that for people.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool.
Definitely have to have a big heart.
Yeah. Yeah. It's neat. It's really neat. What are you reading?
I'm actually reading Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I read a book a few months ago by Emily, and I really enjoyed it. And Bethany said that I might like this one too. So this one was actually a recommendation from Bethany. And it, honestly, I didn't look to see when it was written until actually a few days ago.
Okay.
But it's about a story of a Hollywood star and a group of actors roaming the scattered outposts of the Great Lakes region because there was, like, a civilization collapse, and they're risking everything for art and humanity. And I was like, oh, and I was like, so it sounded like, you know, pandemic-y. And then I looked, and it was written before the pandemic. Because I was like, oh, my brain was like, oh, it was written during the pandemic. No, it was written before. And so I'm like, ooh.
I think I read it during the pandemic.
Oh, did you?
And then I watched the TV show, and then I was like, what am I doing to myself?
So, yeah. So I'm really excited to fully jump into it since I had to read some other stuff beforehand. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I really enjoyed the other book. And I'm like, whoa, maybe I have a new author, because I think she has a couple other books, too. So I'm really excited.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You'll have to keep me updated on that one.
Will do. Well, if you have any, like, books that are 250 pages or less that you want to tell us about that you loved, because clearly Bethany really loves to read them and I love to dabble. But please let us know. Email us at themulberrylibrary@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Instagram. Send us a message. All that good jazz. And with that,
happy reading, Mulberry.